Good. Hello, people. How are you? How was your weekend? I'm excited to have you here. Kindly confirm that my sound is clear before I start this. People on YouTube, please do me the honors and the favor to just confirm that my sound is clear before I begin. I would appreciate that. I would appreciate that shout out so that I can know my sound is loud and clear. Of course, on TikTok, sound is loud and clear. Amazing. Amazing. How about my people on YouTube? I'm waiting for you to just give me a thumbs up that we are good to go. Then we can start this in an awesome fashion. Very clear, very clear. Thank you so much again. Once again, welcome to the Health and Wellness Pod. I'm excited to be here again this Monday to share my views about healthcare. And yeah, fresh from the womb. Thank you so much, each and every one of you who actually send us their token of appreciation. There were so many, I couldn't even shout each and every one of you out because there were so many. But thank you so much we didn't know you appreciate us that much from out there. And it's just amazing. It's amazing to know that you people love us, love our content, enjoy our content, and most importantly, that our content is changing your lives for the better, because that's what we signed in for. We did not sign in to just come here and make noise and disappear. We wanted to make an impact in your life and change your life for the better, and we are glad that we are doing it right now. So thank you so much for each and every one of you who took their time to wish me a happy birthday on Saturday. Now this is a new year and we're going to do things in different ways, but our goals are still the same. Okay, so this is a channel that we are excited to be older, growing older. I didn't know it's exciting to grow older. Yeah, where now you'll see white hair all over. I'm like, now that is where I'm headed to. So thank you so much for each of your presence and each of your appreciation and the support that you're according us. We are at 32,700 people on YouTube. We would appreciate if you take some time to just move to our YouTube and actually subscribe to our YouTube channel, Health and Wellness Sport. Also, my people on TikTok, we would appreciate if you follow us, if you like our content, and if you share it with people, because this is a place where health lives. Okay, this is not a place for gossip. This is a place that we get engaged in health content and health related issues that actually change our lives for the better. Again, for my people on YouTube, there's another platform that is called 𝐂𝐎𝐍 with Dr. Lewis. That is a channel that you can actually join in and keep changing your life for the better. Please share the live with people, share it on Facebook, share it on all over, so that you can actually support us to grow. And most importantly, do not be square mtiaji. Don't sit back and you don't like the live. If you're on YouTube, please like the live so that you can actually get to as many people as possible. And that is highly appreciated. So tonight, I'm talking about constipation. As you've seen on the title that I put across, is constipation. Why do I find the need to talk about constipation? It's because of the fasting that people went through. People did a 72-hour fast last week that ended on Friday. There's a group of people, of course, most of the people in my platforms, they do a 48-hour fast every weekend. And I've realized this question keeps on popping every time, that, hey doc, after breaking my fast, I constipated. I enjoyed the fast, but immediately I did it, I had a diarrhea. Some say I had a constipation and it was very weird. And then they ask me, is there something wrong? Because they are quick to start blaming the fast. Is there something wrong? I get that question all the time. And I'm like, no, there's everything right with you constipating because you attempted the fast for the first time. And so we keep pushing. You don't give up just because you had one constipation and now you are looking for ways to blame a fast. So I'll talk about that. I'll talk about constipation. I'll take you through medication classes for constipation, just the same way I took you through medication classes for hypertension. Okay, so I'll take you through medication classes for constipation. And then I think it's time for us to redo the live that we did on what was it? On minerals. Do you remember the live that we did on mineral deficiencies? The one that they brought down? Yeah, so we will redo that on Wednesday. Shall be interesting because yes, they brought it down knowing it was a very interesting one. It was a very deep one. We hope that we can actually make it even deeper. But we will bring the roof down as always. And then, of course, on Friday, ladies and gentlemen, the most interesting show of the year. That is the Identity Friday. So you cannot miss on Friday. Those of you who attended the show on Friday, you saw how it was. You saw how amazing those testimonies and those conversations were. And you saw how much we need to fix identities before even thinking about fixing our physical aspect of life. So do not miss out on the Identity Fridays that is always scheduled on this platform every Friday. Okay? And then we have a contact that is circulating all over. That is a contact for consultations, 0707 07 40 47 22. 0707 07 47 22. That is a contact that you can actually use to book your physical consultations that are going to happen from next week on Tuesday in Nairobi. Okay, so that you can also use it to book for the online consultations that happen every single day in the evening. And then this coming month, we are going to also carry out a 2-month weight loss program that will end the same time with the previous 3-month weight loss program that is in January. So yes, if you're interested, you can actually start booking your slot as early as now using the same contact. Do your inquiries through the same contact and through the office. So we appreciate that. However, for the physical consultations, we are starting them on Tuesday next week, and they will take about 2 weeks. Thereafter, we will take a break for November because I have to head for my leave in November. And then we can come back in December. And I'm actually thinking, why don't we just do a back-to-back live in December from 5th all the way to the day that you'll be eating chapatis and crucifying Jesus. You celebrate the death of somebody. As you eat those chapatis and that sugar, we will be there. So I'm thinking possibly if God gives me the grace, we can actually do a back-to-back live in December. But we will see about that. Tomorrow is a testimonial Tuesday. Okay, so yes, tomorrow is a testimonial Tuesday. So please, if you have any testimony for us, if you want to inspire somebody through your story, the platform is yours tomorrow. Okay, so you can join in tomorrow and share your testimony with other people. It is always inspiring for somebody to hear from you, to hear your story that you've walked this journey and it has been successful for you. It's also important that you get inspired by saying the same things, because when you say that, possibly you lock yourself down, because you can imagine giving a testimony that, I lost weight from this to this. And then the next thing we are seeing, hey, you're obese again. We are like, hey, did you give a testimony? So yeah, it can act as a way to check you out so that you cannot mess, okay? So tomorrow is a testimonial Tuesday. We'll be here. So this week means we are doing a live today. A live is tomorrow. A live is on Wednesday, and a live is on Friday. Yeah, the Identity Fridays. Some of you call it the IF, intermittent fasting, but we call it the Identity Fridays. It's amazing, right? So yes, as you join in, tell us where you're joining us from. We can shout you out so that people from where you are can actually know, hey, this person is a member of the Health and Wellness Sport. Good. Machakos County Nash is in the building. Welcome on board. I see Mickey is in the building. Thank you so much, Mickey, for joining in. I see Ray Beautiful from Kikuyu. La Princess from Garissa. I see you. I see Sonny Big is in the building. I see Njoki Kangari. I see Odhaya is in the building. Odhaya Nyeri. I see you. I see Limbs Cop. Sound not very clear, small echo. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're on YouTube, kindly confirm if that is true. Queen Nelly is telling me there's some echo. If there's some echo, I can actually put the microphone far away from me. I'm still in Mexico. People from Mexico are here. Soy area. That is KK. Somebody from South Africa. Who is that? That is Mudugudugu. Hey, yeah. Uongo bwana, no echo bwana. Somebody's from Paris is in the building. Was in Gishu Limzogo. I see you loud and clear. So I think your earpiece is the one that is a problem. For me, it's okay. I'm good to go. Voitai Tataveta is in the building. That's Maya. I see Mickey. I've mentioned Mickey already. From Utawala, Lillian. I see you. I see Betty Awi. Quite clear. On YouTube, as always. Very amazing generation here on YouTube. Safi is always the first one to be in the building. I see Halima Hussein, Doris Were, Zolisa Mateja, Joan Luanga, Anna Oduor, J Opande Opande, I see you. Rose Mbevi, Hilary Gunza, Kekeli Kafui, Ses K, Mudhoni Kariuki, tuned in from section 2 in Theka 237 is in the building. I see Kariuki Nagi, I see Masibu Solo, Esther Kagombe, Priscilla Nyambura, I see Jen Muendo, Diana Jerry, Queen Nelly is also in the building. I see Boaz Pitius, Adesuwa I Rise, Prick is in the building. Mildred Okola, I see you. I see who else? Esther Juma TV, amazing. I see Elijah Sam, Joseph Njoroge, Blackman King, Simati, County 038, that is my home county, Vihiga. Welcome on board. I see Virginia Thomas, I see Adani. Adani, hey, Adani. Yeah, Adani, I hope you're Kenyan. Because if you're from India, Adani, I'll watch. I see you. Amazing. Unisongo is in the building. And then I see Zembi the Queen. Grace Ananda, I can't forget you. Peter Nakumi, have you ever seen a name and you're just like, hey, 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 Gabriel is in the building. Gabriel, I see you. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in. Tag your friends here. Constipation. What is constipation? Most often, from Mago, Zawadi, Mago. We know Mago near Kaimosi. Shout out. I remember when we were in high school. Yes, I was privileged to attend high school in Western. Was it province that time, right? So 2 schools in Western. but the main one was Vihiga High School. Called it Vipers or Viga. So, Majengo used to be called Kije. And then there was a place there near Kaimosi that was called Emago. Now, some of us who were very experimental with life, we would close school or go for half term and run to Mago. We used to psych up for Emago. We call it Emago, but it's Mago. So we used to psych up for Mago to just go and take those sips of alcohol in. Hey, boys will always be boys. So yeah, so it was so famous for that. And Tiriki alcohol is crazy, my friend. Just a sip and hey, you're seeing 3 people in one. That was crazy. So yeah, we used to psych up for that. And I know I'm a criminal on that one, and most of you are. So there's always that moment of realization. And sometimes I feel happy that I went through all these things to just come out who I am right now. Because some of the people that we rolled with them even in Mombasa, which was my previous workplace, they really wonder, what changed with this guy? I mean, what changed? Daktari, what went wrong? Nowadays, you're attacking us. What happened? I'm not attacking you, bro. It's just I got a transition and you're still remaining in that place. So you're still obese. And you see, I don't know how to sugarcoat stuff. I will always tell you, if you're fat, I'll tell you you're fat. Regardless of if you're my friend. Because you can be my friend and yet I'm not your friend, right? And that's why friendships are overrated. So yeah, I'll tell you the truth. If you actually are my friend and you believe in my gospel, then you have to unfat. But if you can't unfat and you expect me to sugarcoat it, it's not going to happen. So yes. So people think, hey, this guy joined a cult and then became so serious about that cult. Well done. I am in a cult. I hope you can join that cult one day and get to unplug. Okay? So yes. So most of you think that constipation is only having a hard stool. No, that's not true. Having a hard stool is, of course, one sign of you getting constipation. That hard stool that is difficult to pass. But constipation simply means you've gone for more than 48 or even 72 hours. There is no bowel movement, whether soft or hard. Okay? So yeah, you've gone 72 hours straight, no going to the loo. And remember, the gut is very fixable. The gut is trainable. That's why I tell my people to read Atomic Habits. You develop habits and you replace healthy habits, you replace bad habits with healthy habits. You can hardly just drop one habit. It's hard. You need to substitute it. So if it's time for you to go for 2 for the road in the evening, you simply replace that with the gym. If it's time for you to do something bad in the evening, you do it. If you know during the weekends, you're a person who will go out and just destroy your life totally, and you leave for the weekend, what you do is during the weekends, you start fasting. So you substitute the unhealthy behaviors with healthy behaviors that actually help you grow better and bigger. Okay, so that's how it happens. So when you train your gut and you realize very well that every time, if you're somebody who goes to the loo in the morning, Anytime you wake up, you're feeling that urge to go to the toilet. Most of you ignore that urge. And I will show you that that urge that you keep on ignoring, that you constantly ignore, that can be very dangerous. It can actually be one of the causes of constipation, because when you ignore that urge, you're actually straining your gut, okay? So when the gut wants to go for that bowel movement, please allow it. And I will show you the habits that you people have developed that actually destroy your gut. And that's why most people are complaining of gastritis, ulcers, H. pylori, constipation, diarrhea, indigestion, bloating, and passing gas all the time. Some of you pass gas, and you ladies, some of you ladies are so well groomed and looking. But when you pass gas, hey, yeah. A man with a good tie like this one of mine, and then this guy passes gas, and hey, I don't know why. Why when somebody senses that bad smell that is coming from you, you start laughing. Why is that the case, by the way? Why is it that when you pass that bad gas, and then somebody in your environment just an anusa, you start laughing? What is so funny about that? Somebody is so well dressed, well groomed, well behaved, but when it comes to passing gas, aye. You're like, hey, mommy, yeah, that way. Hey, Hobere. So in Luya, Hobere means forgive us. Okay? So Hobere, hey. Man. It's like you've been eating everything that is coming your way. Hey. Anyway, so when you don't pass the bowel movement for about 72 hours, that can actually be classified as constipation. Okay? And that is actually a problem, because less than 3 bowel movements in a week. Okay, so basically that's the definition. Less than 3 bowel movements in a week, that is constipation. So you can imagine that. You're eating so much, but when you go to the loo, actually you don't even have the urge to go to the loo. If you go to the toilet, you're only going to urinate, and that's it. Okay, and if you're taking salt, as we advise here, chances of you going to urinate are even slimmer. Okay, so sometimes when you now get the stool, it's either very small, kama ile ya kumbuzi, and it's very hard. It's very irritating. And remember, the rectum on the anus is actually lined by cells. So sometimes you can irritate those cells when this hard stool is coming out. And when that happens, you rupture it. And for those people who have suffered hemorrhoids, remember, an increase in blood pressure in the plexus of blood vessels that actually line the rectum, an increase in that pressure is the one that causes the popping of these blood vessels into the rectum. And now you have hard stool coming out, and this hard stool ruptures those blood vessels, and you start bleeding. So anytime you pass a stool and you see fresh blood, simply know you are rupturing blood vessels in the rectum. Okay, simply know that there's a chance of infection, because the largest population of gut microorganisms are living in the rectum and in the large intestine. So if you have a slight wound in the large intestine, now a chance of getting a bacterial infection and sepsis goes up, because it's easy for us to get this getting into the system. And also know that the rectum is lined by an absorbing surface. Now, this is to people who who perform anal sex. Please stop. Because one, you're going to rupture those cells there. They are not designed for that. They are not designed for an entry. They are designed for an exit. That is one. Number two, you have all the organs that are adapted to sex. They are lubricated, they are elastic, and they can accommodate every single thing that goes there and that is intended to go there. So stop using the exit. Please, forgive us. I don't know. I told you when I was growing up, I really wanted to study this rainbow so much. But in my place, rainbow could only occur maybe once in a month. When the rains come and go, they only occur once in a month. But nowadays, I am pushed to understand the rainbow every single day. And that's so upsetting. Because when I wanted it, it wasn't there. Now it is now here. And yes, we have to live with it. But again, I am a righteous person. Therefore, I will discern what is evil. And I will uphold what is right. So do not perform anal sex. That is supposed to be an exit. Let it remain as such. The reason why most people are having hemorrhoids, the reason why most people are having anal fissures, the reason why you people are getting all this diarrhea that is uncontrollable, the reason why now industries that sell adult pampers are actually making a living and multi-billion-dollar, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they're making billions of dollars in terms of profit, is because of our own behaviors. We've become worse than animals, and animals have actually become better than human beings. So please, let exits be exits. Use the entrance. Thank you very much for understanding. So now that we are training our bowel to have a movement, maybe a one movement every day, and also that way. So there are people who, you go to the loo now, you empty the bowel, but when you come out, you've not emptied it. You feel like you did not empty it completely. You need a checkup. And you need to change your behavior. Why am I saying that? Nowadays, most of you go to the loo with a phone. You cannot skip on a TikTok gossip. You must go to the toilet with your phone. You're busy on TikTok, you're busy reading research, you're busy journaling, you're doing these things and all that. You're reading a novel in the toilet. Please, respect that room. Go there, do your business and walk out. It is a room for defecation or for urination. Do the business and come out. Stop sitting in a toilet and studying in a toilet. Why? You don't have a study room. What is happening with us nowadays? So go into the toilet for the shortest period of time, deposit what you have to deposit and move. And when you flush the toilet and you realize your stool does not flush easily, it simply swings on water and comes back. And it has some form of mucus or foam on top of it. Be very observant. Some of you don't even look at your stool. You're so classy that now your stool has become an enemy. So when you see that, that's a sign that either you have an amoebic infection or you're having problems with your rectum. Okay, so stool is supposed to be flushed and goes. But I'll talk about these sit-on toilets that we've embraced. We don't know where they came from. We were adapted, and human beings are supposed to poop while squatting. So I'll talk about the normal and the correct position for pooping. And this will tell you why most of you have a problem with adequate emptying of the bowel. The pooping position is very important, so we'll talk about it. So anyway, what are the causes of this problem? Because you cannot just wake up one day and your body does not pass stool. Because it's normal that if you're eating, you digest, you absorb nutrients because your gut is fixed. When you absorb nutrients optimally, the rest the body has to discard it. It's sending to the large intestines where bacteria act on the fiber. They eat the fiber, they give you back the B vitamins, or they help you absorb more nutrients. And then the rest is packaged in a very good way, but a very smelly one, pumped into the anus so that you can actually pop it out. And immediately gets into the anus or near the rectum into the anus, you get the reflex to go to pass a bowel movement. That's when you run to the toilet to just ease yourself up. And once you do that, you feel so good about yourself. Now you thank yourself for eating healthy and having a fixed gut. But when you miss a bowel movement today, tomorrow, the following day, yet you have not traveled, there is no change in weather, your diets are still the same, you've hydrated adequately, now you need a medical checkup. And already when I'm mentioning those things, I'm mentioning the causes of constipation. So you can simply start to understand, oh, if I'm not hydrating adequately, that can be a cause of constipation. And again, you'll realize some of the medication for constipation, like osmotic laxatives, can actually cause you dehydration, causing you more constipation later on. So imagine we want you to be hydrated so that you can actually pass stool nicely. But now, you are dehydrated, you end up taking a laxative that actually causes you more dehydration, you start destroying your kidneys, you start destroying the rectum, and now more constipation comes in. So it's a very interesting phenomenon, and that's why laxatives are only supposed to be used for a short period of time. Nowadays, you guys give your children every time a laxative. Ladies, please, let's be respectful to these children. Let them just grow into a normal way. One, you realize you have very bad eating habits. And the only thing you can do is pass these habits to your child. Now, this child is eating 5 meals a day. Yet that is not enough. You still go to the pharmacy and buy multivitamin syrups and appetite stimulants so that your child can continue eating just like you. You think a child is a small adult. The children are not small adults. Your baby has a gut or a stomach that's like your fist. So then how do you buy appetite stimulants to make your child feed like you? Your child is already feeding on 4 meals a day plus snacking in between. And then you are not satisfied with that because you're thinking this child is actually growing thin. And of course, they have to grow thin or fat, either way. Why? Because their guts are messed up, so they cannot even absorb nutrients in their optimum amounts. So now what happens is you go to the pharmacy, you buy antibiotics, you give this child, the gut is messed up, they are unable to digest food and absorb it optimally. They are eating wheat products, the seed oils, the guts are messed up. They cannot digest protein because their stomach acid is so weak. They end up getting constipation. And now, the same person who bought these children the appetite stimulant is the same person who is going to buy these children a laxative. Dulcolax is there. Lactulose is there. You're quick to buy them a laxative because you're thinking this child has to empty the bowl so that he can eat. Sometimes I look at you people and I wonder. So your child is eating 5 meals a day, but that's not enough. You go and buy an appetite stimulant or a multivitamin. That is not enough. You go and buy a laxative to empty the bowl of the child totally. So that the child's stomach remains empty so that you can actually feed them just the same way you feed. That doesn't make sense to me. So you buy them appetite stimulant, they end up getting problems with digestion, and then you buy them laxatives. And these laxatives get them into problems. And imagine introducing laxatives to children who are so young, and you're giving them all the time, and then their guts get used to this. Their nerves and their reflexes start to fail. They start to depend on the laxative. And now every time you will have to load this child with a laxative so that they can actually have a bowel movement. Imagine that. So you're making these children addicts as early as possible. So this child is already suffering nutrient deficiencies, malnutrition, a fatty liver, and now problems with the gut. Now you're there wondering, why am I taking the child to hospitals every single time? Why is my child this way? But the answers lie with you. They are there. Niwewe. Let just children grow into a normal way. Let them feed healthy. When they want food, they will ask for it. Do you think a child can actually die of hunger? They can't die of hunger. So do not feed your children. Do not overfeed them. And do not make them behave just like you, because children learn by observation and imitation. However, they were born intelligent. So sometimes they ignore what you're pushing to them. But you will even whip them for not eating. I remember I used to be beaten when I was a kid to just eat. I'm like, I don't want food. But my mother would whip you. Why did you not eat? I went to play football. I forgot about lunch. I will have to receive a whipping so that tomorrow I have to eat. I was like, why would I eat if I don't want to eat? So in her head, she was thinking, I did not eat because she chose this food. Because she made maybe porridge or romena or something. So she's thinking, I don't like that food and that's the only one that is available, so I have to eat it anyway. But I didn't want to eat. And I've seen that even in my younger siblings. They used to receive a whipping because they're not eating. That's the same thing that you people are doing. You beat this child to eat. And then you threaten them with these small things here. Oh, you know, then now the child is busy feeding, but you can easily see on the face that this child is busy straining. The next day, the child is constipating. You are in the pharmacy because you are the doctor now, because you just went on the internet and studied about constipation in children, and now you're there taking lactulose, you're giving it to them. On the other side, now the adult children, the older ones, the elderly, are the ones who are also experiencing the same thing. And now we give them, again, laxatives. Now I will tell you this, that when these people are aging, chances of them getting heart disease, chronic kidney failure, and all that are coming in. And now, as these things are coming in, they come with constipation. And if you give these people some laxatives, some types of laxatives that we'll talk about, you might end up killing them, because some laxatives can cause them dehydration, therefore exacerbating kidney failure. They even insert soap to make the child poop. There were two occasions that were very interesting in childhood. You see, before a son gets circumcised, and before they start wearing those katkpila, you remember those katkpila, the underwears? So we used to wear those underwears after now the experience. But before the experience, this foreskin, there's a way the zipper used to hold on it. Hey, my friend, that was a very bad experience. And that's one of the reasons why children used to advocate for circumcision so early. Because when you go to zip up your trouser and then that foreskin is trapped, ooh. And apparently, excuse me, apparently only women, only mothers knew how to get rid of that thing. I don't know why. Fathers will see you screaming, they're looking the other side. They pretend, come on, they don't know anything. And mothers come in handy and they just simple and now you're relaxed. Now you want circumcision. That is one. Number two, we used to eat guavas. You go out and eat guavas plus the seeds and you don't drink enough water. The next thing, the following day, constipation. Now you're constipating. And even if you drink a lot of water, you will still constipate because you did not take salt. So you'll constipate. And now there's somebody who has to come with a stick to just pop it out. And that was again a mother. So we shout out to you mothers. Hey, you do an awesome job. And then sometimes we're told, hey, this child is bloated. Now you have to take the soap, a bar soap, and just make it into a bullet, like, then put on some water and insert into the anus of the child. Now, as you insert there, if you're not experienced, that's why you leave these jobs to other people. If you don't have any experience, you will insert there and then just let it go. By the time you're releasing that finger, where? So there was an angle you have to insert it so that when you just release the finger, the sewage is out. My childhood was just interesting. But anyway, all these things were being experimented on us. Aye. Hey. So if you never got, if you're a zipper as a man, you never, or as a boy, if you never got, your foreskin never got caught by that zipper, you're lucky. If you never got constipation because of eating guavas when you're growing up, again, you're lucky. Okay, that's the only time you would appreciate that, hey, this is my mother. So yeah, anyway, let's go. Let's keep going. So one of the causes of constipation is the diets. That is actually the major cause of constipation. Now, which diets? Because when you just say diets, it's like me telling you, you need to lose weight. Just the same way we tell you in the consultation room, oh, hii kilo yako ni mingi sana. You work on this weight. And then I don't tell you how to work on the weight. So what am I doing? But I'm innocent because I also don't know how to lose the weight. That's why I'm fat. So when I'm telling you lose the weight, please, you just find a solution somewhere else. Okay? And that's the philosophy about it. But this is what we do. Huh? So the diets, one, when you're eating those wheat products, when you're taking those seed oils, these are the things that actually are inflammatory to the gut. So they cause a lot of inflammation to the gut, and now the gut is dysfunctional. They even destroy the nerves that actually line or innervate the rectum, the entire gut. Because remember, the gut, all the way from the stomach down to the rectum to the anus, is the only organ that has its own brain. That tells you can actually chop off the head and the gut will still function. Because it has its own brain and the nervous system. It's actually called the enteric nervous system. It's a complete brain. And again, the gut has a direct relationship to the brain. So when you have a messed up gut, you're messing up your psychic, you're messing up your understanding and the brain in general. But look at it this way. So you mess up the gut by causing inflammation through the inflammatory foods that we mention here all the time. And wheat, and the one that you guys call, I don't know, atta or something, the brown one, very rich in that crazy thing that you think is fiber, and then goes there and just picks a lot of water along the way. It's like you swallowing a dry bread. Have you ever swallowed bread without, with very limited saliva? Do you see how it mops? That's how this thing mops the rectum. And now the feeling is so annoying, yet the feeling of defecation was supposed to be interesting, like relaxed and smooth, so that you actually train the gut positively. But now this feeling is so annoying that the gut is even in kama inashtuka. The nerves are now disturbed, but you're there, you have to push it out anyway. So yes, diets are very interesting in this because one, they fix, when you're eating healthy, your gut totally is fixed. And number two, they can actually destroy your gut instantly because you are what you eat. And one of the reasons why you get sick, actually the major reason why you get sick is because you're eating crappy food. So fix the foods. Drop the seed oils and drop the wheat products. They are crazy on your gut. And again, the weird part is we don't even know why we eat these foods because one, they don't have any nutritional value. And number two, they are messing up our gut. So they're actually causing us not to absorb other nutrients effectively. So why then are we so addicted to these products? And the food industry understood that. That's why they add in the sugars. That's why they add in the glucose and the monohydrates so that you can actually get addicted to it because it has no nutritional value. But when you get addicted to it, they make the money. So it's a business. So foods that are high in fiber. However, if you're eating foods that are low in fiber, of course, chances of you getting constipation is there because you need a bulky stool so that you can activate peristalsis, the movement of the gut. You need the stool to be bulky so that you can move the bowel and stimulate the nerves on the bowel. However, excessive consumption of fiber. So you see, lack of fiber in diet is actually a cause of constipation. Can also cause diarrhea. However, excessive consumption of fiber, this is the sweet potatoes, the green bananas, the butternuts. You see those complex carbohydrates. And the one that is highly shocking is the vegetables. So as you constantly consume these fiber-rich diets and you do them in excess, those people who are trying to lose weight by eating the salads, all the time you're feeding on salads, those vegetarians who keep on eating on the salads or the vegetables and foods that are rich in fiber, you're going to cause yourself constipation. Why? Because gut microorganisms actually feed on fiber. And it's natural. They are there for a reason. They feed on the fiber because they are probiotics and the fiber is the prebiotic. So they feed on the fiber. And when they feed on the fiber, symbiotically, they give you the B vitamins. They help you digest more fiber. And then they help you ease up on the stool. But as you constantly consume the fiber, and a lot of fiber for that matter, you actually end up overfeeding these gut microorganisms. When you overfeed them, now they are redundant. They are tired. It's just like you. When you eat that ugali at lunch hour, the next thing is you're dozing off. You thought I'll eat ugali for energy. Now, which energy are you using to sleep? In that office, you can't even concentrate. So how is that energy helping you? Because it's a wrong idea of nutrition. So you overfeed the gut microorganisms and they end up punishing you. They do not digest fiber. They will not give you the B vitamins, therefore vitamin deficiencies. And if they're not digesting the fiber, they are now clogging and blocking the intestines. And now you have this so bulky stool that cannot pass into your rectum. It has expanded enough, but nothing is happening. That is now another constipation episode. And now, as you accumulate this fiber and this bulky stool, so much bulky stool, it starts to reabsorb water from the intestines. And this is a normal mechanism because of the difference in the osmotic balance. So we now start absorbing water from the gut into the stool. And the body is actually doing that to make sure that it can actually try and soften this stool so that you can actually evacuate it. But as it's doing that, you end up getting this dehydration. And now even the flexibility of the rectum is altered. Now dehydration means you're passing out sodium. And as you're passing out sodium, remember nerve function depends on sodium. And for you to pass stool, you must activate the nerves that supply the rectum. So if you're unable to activate the nerves that supply the rectum because now sodium is coming out and you're getting dehydrated, what do you expect? More constipation. And now more hemorrhoids. Problem after problem after problem after problem. Nutrition is easy to understand, but you only need the simplest things. You don't need complicated nutrition. You don't need to read deeper into nutrition. You need to understand the basics. Awesome. There is William Nyangi here with $7 Canadian dollars as a super chat. William Nyangi, you are changing lives, doctor. I am following from Canada. I work with people with disabilities. You don't know how much fiber we give them 365 days. So this is basically an eye of them feeding on fiber. Zero nutritional value. Remember, human beings are not supposed to digest fiber. We are not designed to digest fiber. So when somebody tells you, oh, when you're constipating, it's because you're eating low fiber. And then they don't tell you not to overeat the fiber. They're actually messing you up because you will consume the fiber, yes? You will get the benefit from the fiber. But that benefit will actually act against you because you will overfeed the gut microorganisms. And at that moment in time, they will now be redundant. They will not do their work. You will suffer. So shout out to you, gentlemen. William Nyangi from Canada. So believe me, fiber is not food for human beings. Fiber is food for microorganisms in the gut. Fermented foods, the fermented cabbages. Somebody will say, and I know how addictive it is, so you can actually pop it out and eat the whole of it with an avocado. However, what is the nutritional benefit? Yes, we've gotten vitamin C. Yes, we've gotten the microorganisms and the fiber to feed the microorganisms, but you've overfed on it. Once you do that, you've overfed the microorganisms. Now you're suffering. So the best thing you need to do is to regulate the amount of fiber that is actually going into your gut. So people who are suffering from constipation, people who are suffering from hemorrhoids, diverticulous, inflammatory bowel disease, mental health problems, feed on fiber, yes. Feed on fermented cabbage, yes, to fix the gut. However, do not overdo it. And you see the diabetic plate, they tell you a lot of fiber, a lot of vegetables, and then some few proteins, and then a feast of carbohydrates. They are forgetting that carbohydrates are, that feast of carbohydrate, that is sugar. The vegetables have fiber, that can also be sugar, so that's also carbohydrate. And then now the fiber is going to mess up your gut totally. So minimize on it. And if you're constipating, reduce on the fiber, reduce on the sweet potatoes, reduce on the complex carbohydrates, reduce on vegetables. and then take yourself on a ride of about 24 hours of not eating so that the gut resets, so that you starve the microorganisms, and now they come back to reality and they help you digest the food. Blackman King, it's funny that the rich fiber foods can be seen in stool, but not a single protein can be seen. Proteins are completely digested in the system. Perfect. You will see fiber in stool, but people blame protein for no good reason. You see somebody telling you eat fiber, but do not reduce on protein. And then you're like, what is the relationship between protein and me having constipation? What is the relationship? And then now crickets. And now we start jumping into the jargons. So number one is fiber. Number one is diet, sorry. So wheat products and the inflammatory foods, high fiber diet, okay? And number three, dehydration. But this dehydration can be part of the diets and can also be part of just on its own. But we'll talk about it. Number two, lack of physical activity. Now, I told you this. Physical activity includes also training the gut to have one bowel movement or a maximum of 2 bowel movements a day. And you can actually listen to the body. When you listen to the body, you will see it responding to you. So this is the reality. Nowadays, we are living a sedentary life. We love sitting down for 8 hours in the office. We go back at home. We are sitting there, putting our legs up with a remote in our hands, or with TikTok on the phone, or all those things that we do. Sedentarism, no exercise, no nothing. But the gut needs blood flow. But the gut needs exercise. Remember, our entire gut is muscular. Those muscles need exercise. They need training. That's why you go to the gym to do the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿. That's why you go to the gym to do the hip thrust, so that you can actually build the pelvic muscle, you can build the rectal muscles for defecation and to hold stool. Some of you cannot hold stool. Just comes and out. And of course, people from the umbrella are also victims here. So now that's why adult pampers are going to be a business in the next 5 years. Okay, so we are actually slowing down our digestion and our gastric movement, our stomach movements, and now this is causing us more constipation. And again, we are adding medication on that. Some of the drugs that we are using are actually messing up our gut, so we are unable to even digest food completely. And actually, that is number 3 cause of constipation: medicines and medication. Which medication are causing constipation? Now, I want to see if you guys can reason with us. I want to see if you guys can actually see the bigger picture. What group of drugs or which medicines do you think are responsible for constipation? Put it in the comment section. Which medication do you think are responsible for indigestion and therefore constipation? Which medication? As we do that, let's go to the dehydration part. PPIs and painkillers. Painkillers, amazing. Look at this. Hey, muscle relaxants, pain pills, laxatives, opioids. Listen, I think this live is for you guys. I have to sit back and just enjoy the lecture. So you guys understand the gospel already. This is what I want. That I want us to be in a place. Cholesterol lowering drugs, some cholesterol medication, yes. Analgesics, painkillers. Now listen, this is what we want. We want a generation of people who are so bright that they can challenge the healthcare system. Antidepressants. Hey. You are so right. All of you are so right. Why? Somebody saying Lasix. Yes, that is a loop diuretic that causes dehydration, therefore constipation. So medications like painkillers, like steroids, tranquilizers, yes, drugs like diazepam that actually cause you these drowsiness and all that, and they mess up the gut movement and motility. So let me take you through this. Iron supplements, thank you very much. Antibiotics, man, this is crazy. Now listen, this is what is happening on medication. Most medication, actually all medication have side effects. And those who have done a pharmacy course, they will tell you that when it comes to hard questions and somebody has asked you a side effect of a drug that you don't even know, the first 2 side effects that you put there that are obvious is diarrhea and constipation. You will get the mark. Pharmacy students, are you there? You know better. Diarrhea, constipation, vomiting. So if you're totally blank, and as the syllabus says, you'd rather set your own question and answer in that space. If you read a question and you cannot understand it and you don't know the answer, set your own question and answer in that space. Why? Because if you leave a blank space, people who are going to do the Pharmacy and Poisons Board examination, if you leave a blank space, you automatically get a fail. You will fail. That means you'll be held for another cycle, so no money for internship. So please, fill that space. Diarrhea, constipation, and vomiting. These are the obvious side effects for all medication. Okay? Yes, negative marking. You don't want the -1 or -1/2. Okay? You can start a paper with -0 or -20. So now you have to catch up. Anyway, so this is what is happening. Drugs like the NSAIDs, which are painkillers, drugs like steroids, like dexamethasone, prednisolone, even the diprofos. These are drugs that actually mess up your gut. And they destroy the gut to an extent that they lower or they slow down the motility of the gut. Therefore, you start getting constipation. But most importantly, the opioid analgesics, those potent painkillers like morphine, like pethidine, like tramadol, and most of you are actually becoming addicted to tramadol. Most doctors are addicted to pethidine. These are drugs. The codeine, you remember the story of the cough syrup? That one that people in campus, these campus students used to buy. I'm glad that it was put under the dangerous drugs. So it had codeine. So these guys used to put that cough syrup in sodas, in the blackcurrant sodas, and then serve it during parties. And when the ladies take these, they become sedated. Now sex is all over. And by the time you're waking up tomorrow, out of that drowsiness, you cannot remember what happened. You're asking this guy, did we have sex? And this guy's like, oh, I don't know. But the one who invited you for house parties. Drugs like diazepam that when you put in alcohol, like also the mchele, the flunitrazepam, you put it in alcohol, it dissolves so fast. And then now sweeps off your memory. These are drugs that actually slow down motility. Not only that, they also slow down your respiration rate. So your breathing is now altered. So you can actually die from taking an overdose of these narcotics without even knowing. So how much do you know? How much have you taken in that soda? How much codeine have you sipped in that soda that night? And the reason why you actually pass out is because you have suppressed your respiratory centers, your breathing centers in the brain, and now you pass out because the body knows the amount of oxygen that you're now bringing in because your breathing has gone low. So the amount of oxygen that you're bringing in is limited. It cannot supply the entire system. So the body shuts down every system that requires a lot of oxygen. And when that happens, you sleep, including the gut. So now no digestion, no motility. And when you sleep, the smallest amount of oxygen that you're breathing in goes straight to the brain to just sustain you. So that means you can easily die from taking this medication. So why are we taking them and abusing them? Why? Why are we doing that? So medications like opioids, tramadol, morphine, and pethidine, drugs like NSAIDs and steroids, drugs like antacids, and we've explained this before. Antacids and proton pump inhibitors. Just allow me to make this. Good. So antacids and proton pump inhibitors, the omeprazoles, pantoprazoles, esomeprazoles, all those. And nowadays you see there's a kit for children or babies, a PPI for babies. We have the pantoprazole, which is dispersible. Have you seen it? Dispersible pantoprazole for children. So your children, from the word go, they are going to get mineral deficiencies. And that's why that supplement company is going to come in and is actually making and ripping out of your arrogance. So as you use these antacids neutralize the stomach pH. They neutralize that acid in the stomach. And when they neutralize that stomach acid, that becomes a problem because you can now digest, you're now unable to digest protein. When you're unable to digest protein, now constipation is coming in. You eat that meat, it stays in the gut for 8 hours as they lie to you, but they don't want to, they want to protect this medication. So it stays there, you don't digest it, it's pumped into small intestines and it goes. Overeating. You eat every time and frequent eating. Every after 2 hours you're eating. Your gut needs 6 to 8 hours to digest food adequately. But look at you eating every after 2 hours. Now you're pumping this food, this undigested food, into the small intestines, and is now pushed into the large intestines and now pushed out without digesting, without absorbing anything, and therefore no nutrition from that food. So why are you eating 5 meals a day and still snacking in between? Do you have things that you've actually umefuga nini kwa tumbo yenye inahitaji hiyo chakula? Do you have crows in your stomach? The crows, you know crows? The ones that when you slaughter a cow here, they are all over. Do you have them in your stomach that you need to feed them? Do you umefuga jini kwa tumbo lenye linakuitisha chakula kila wakati, so you must throw something there? That is insulin resistance. So eating all the time, you're actually pushing food that is undigested into the small intestines. And then it's pumped into the large intestines. And now gut microorganisms are now tired. Yes, kunguru. Yes, a good one. The kunguru. So you have kunguru in your stomach that is just waiting for that food to come in so that you can tap it. Ay, unakula every after 2 hours. Imagine you eat at home. Maybe around 6:37 there. You leave home. You are at work. By 9, you are yawning. You eat again. By 11:30, you are yawning. You eat again. By 3:30, you're yawning, you eat again. And then on the jam, you're yawning, you have to snack on something. You come back home, you have to cook again and eat. How many meals are those? How many meals are those? What time did they become digested? How do you expect the gut to digest all this food that you're pumping in? You need the gut to digest, to absorb, to clean up, and then rest. When it's resting now, you can actually bring in new food. That happens after 6 to 8 hours. So why are you eating 4 meals a day, please? And then you're wondering why you have gastritis. You're wondering why you have constipation. You're wondering why you suffer all these conditions every time. Don't wonder. Simply change your kitchens, change your habits, replace them with healthy habits. Just 2 meals a day is enough. And most of us were not even born to eat in the morning. We wake up in the morning, we are full. But because we've developed habits of eating in the morning, because that's what we found our parents doing, we can't move without taking morning breakfast. And then you tell me, oh, you know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and I will eat it heavy as a king, so that during the day I use that energy. But look at the same person eating at 10 again. Who are you? You said morning breakfast is important. Okay, we said, okay, eat breakfast. You eat that breakfast, and at 10, you want also another meal. I mean, hey, yeah? Yes, the ones for, you know, breakfast in bed. You know, breakfast in bed. You're eating breakfast in bed, and at 10, you're yawning, you want more food. But you told me morning breakfast is going to serve you with energy throughout the day. What happened in between that now you have to eat at 10 again? Where is common sense? So ladies and gentlemen, before I finish the courses of this, okay, let me just finish the course and then I announce my platforms, okay? Next, of course, we've said diets, we've said dehydration, we've said lack of physical activity and sedentarism, we've said medication. And medication, I said opioids, steroids, antacids, iron supplements. Those iron supplements that you're taking, please. Eat meat, eat liver, eat egg yolks, you'll get what you need. Eat green leafy vegetables. There's not much enough iron in that. Eat omena. We also have antidepressants that actually slow down motility and digestion, and they cause you more depression anyway. We also have antibiotics that destroy gut microorganisms. Therefore, digestion becomes a problem. We also have calcium supplements for the elderly. Imagine the same elderly who are given calcium supplements are the same elderly who are prescribed with lactulose. So you give them calcium supplements for their bones and vitamin D supplements. But you denied them red meat and fatty meats. You denied them the sun because the sun causes them cancer, right? And now you give them vitamin D supplements and you give them calcium supplements. And then give them about a month, they will be back with constipation. You give them lactulose. And who is benefiting from the insurance? Who is eating their old age money? The hospitals. So, yes, those are what I'm talking about. Another cause of constipation is you ignoring the urge to go to the toilet. As the urge comes, please go to the toilet and do your thing. Stop postponing. The gut is speaking to you. Listen. Listen. Stop ignoring. Another one, habits of the toilet. Now, it is fancy to sit on the ground. It is fancy sitting on a sit-on toilet. But as you sit on that toilet, there is a muscle that actually holds your rectum this way. So when you're sitting on that toilet, this muscle tightens this rectum. It pulls the rectum back, and now you cannot pass stool because the rectum is supposed to be this way so that you can actually pass stool directly. But this muscle that holds onto the rectum, when you sit on a sit-on toilet, it pulls it, and this is what is happening. And now you will have to push that stool with a lot of effort. And as you do that, you start weakening these muscles. You start affecting the nerves. And that is a problem because you will end up having a problem in even holding the stool in future. So when somebody is squatting with the knees facing up and their back, or rather leaning towards the knees, this is released and you have this normal functioning. You have this normal bowel movement and the stool just flows softly. That's why when you're in the village and you're in that pit latrine, you will never struggle passing stool. But come to the town and you are a princess, you are a king, and you're sitting on a crown, you're busy having constipation. Because you're altering the normal flow and the normal biology of the rectum. So if you have a sit-on toilet, of which most of us have, simply find a small stool to raise your legs up. When you raise those legs up and your knees face up, you now have a normal flow of the bowel, a normal alignation of the rectum. So go and find that stool and lift your legs a little bit higher. Okay? You need it. Another habit is going to the toilet with a novel, with a set book, with a book, with a phone. Why are you there? You did not go there to study. You have a study room and a study table. Use it. And now, why did it become so important that now you have to study in the toilet? You are unable to even study on your table. You are going to the toilet with a phone or a book or a note because now you're enjoying this story. Please, go to the loo and do what you have to do in the loo. Respect that room. Respect it. Okay, so I think you've not gotten anything from those. And again, once you know the causes, you easily know how you can revise it, right? You don't need me to bring you a laxative to reverse your habits. No laxative, no lactulose, no dulcolax, no magnesium salts is coming in to reverse your kitchen habits. Nothing. Another cause of constipation, medical conditions, inflammatory bowel disease, a messed up gut or the leaky gut, a messed up stomach pH. Just a minute. Good. A messed up stomach pH, thyroid disease. How does the thyroid affect gut function? How does, yes, stress levels are there also. Diverticulous is there, perfect. So how does the thyroid function affect gut function? That is the question for you guys. If you have a messed up thyroid, how do you think it will affect your gut flow, your way to constipation? How do you think is the mechanisms under which the thyroid destruction messes up your gut function? I have very bright people here. Oh, as somebody's asking hiyo ni nini, there are people who already know the function of the thyroid. Yeah. As you're busy asking, what is the thyroid? We are past that. We are past the organs and their functions. We are into diseases that affect each and every organ system. So imagine somebody just said it slows down metabolism. Imagine that. It's regulating metabolism. That is William Nyag. Thank you so much. Imagine that. Imagine how sharp we are, how much of doctors we are without even knowing. That you already know that the role of the thyroid organ or the thyroid gland is to regulate metabolism. So if you have hyperthyroidism, you're actually going to get diarrhea because of increased metabolism. If you have hypothyroidism, you're going to get constipation because of delayed and slowing of the gastric emptying. Oh, and then tell me you're not a doctor. Tell me you're not a doctor. And then sometimes the least of it all is when you've traveled, when you've changed the environment, you've changed the weather, you've changed places, and you've traveled long distances, of course, you might end up having delayed organ bowel emptying, and that is going to cause you constipation. On the diseases also, please add diseases that destroy the nerves, like Parkinson's, the neurological disorders, like Parkinson's, like epilepsy. Remember, the gut is actually innervated by nerves. So when you have neurological conditions, diseases that affect the nerves, of course, you will end up having constipation. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let me take a break as I announce my platforms. One, I have a platform that is active on TikTok right now. It's called Health and Wellness Sport, the one that you're doing a live on now. I have another platform on TikTok that is called Dr. Lewis Muchile. And then I have a platform on YouTube that is called Health and Wellness Sport. Please, if you're on TikTok right now, 311 of you here, please simply move to my, as I do these adverts, go to my YouTube channel right now, Health and Wellness Sport, and just subscribe. It's going to build me, and I'm going to build you even further. So it's actually motivating to see you guys joining these platforms, okay? And if you're on this live, please like the live, please share the live, please actually follow us on TikTok. But I would appreciate if you just move on YouTube and subscribe on that platform called Health and Wellness Sport. Of course, there's another YouTube channel that is called HAWS, H-A-W-S, with Dr. Lewis, but that is a backup account. So I'll appreciate if you take your minute to simply move to my YouTube channel, Health and Wellness Sport, and simply subscribe and then come back. Subscribe already. Thank you so much, Beatrice Kamondo. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's very, very encouraging and motivating to me and my staff, and also to people who would actually think, let me tell you, when I was trying to get to about 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 subscribers, it was hard because you have the information, you want to pass it out, but people don't trust you. Most people don't trust a channel that has least subscribers. They don't. I don't know what time is. Even if you're making sense, they don't care. So if you take your time, this is information that is very is life changing. You know it already. So if you're here and I'm pleading, kindly move to my YouTube channel and just press the subscription button. Thank you so much, those who are subscribing already. Just go and press that subscription button and let's keep moving, because it's amazing. It's amazing. I would actually appreciate if most of you move to YouTube and just watch from YouTube, and then we come back for the conversations on TikTok. But however, thank you so much, Dr. Reese. I appreciate that. Thank you, Vinci. Thank you, TikTok. Man. This is just, thank you guys. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And that is just amazing, amazing. So yes, and then I have merchandise that we sell, and the only merchandise that I do sell as Health and Wellness Sport is fermented cabbages. You've seen those products. So we have these fermented cabbages, and they have that label. If you go to Imenti House, you will see them. There's a gentleman there called Brian Omwenga, and I will provide his contacts because Brian Omwenga is the one who is actually responsible for this. So I'll give you the contact. You can also get the contact from the office contact, which Mickey has pinned there, 0707 07 47 22. Also, this is roasted coffee. You simply brew it. So we don't sell anything else apart from coffee, apart from fermented cabbages, and apart from tallow. It is sheep tallow for that matter. So therefore, if you would like to purchase this, you can actually do it. Thank you so much for the subscriptions. Amazing. You would actually prefer talking to Brian. I'll provide the contact. I've provided the contact on my Telegram channel already, but you can use the office contact to actually do inquiries tomorrow. Now, somebody's asking the benefits. I've done that on my YouTube channel. Benefits of fermented cabbage and the procedure of making it, so that if you're unable to make it, you can actually purchase it from us as you make yours, as you let yours ferment. Okay? Good. And then I have a Telegram platform that is called Health and Wellness Sport. Please go to Telegram and search that channel. I think it has about 7,200 people. Health and Wellness Sport. That is a home of healthcare. There are people there who understand the gospel already. There are people there who are willing to correct you, who are willing to show you the way. Sometimes I come there and just read the comments, and I'm just happy that I designed that platform, that I started that platform. It is a mini library. You can only use the search button to find all the information that you will actually want. And if there's none, you can actually ask us, and we actually make content on it, and we provide it for you on my Telegram platform. So make an effort to join that Telegram platform, and then you will enjoy health content for free. And you can imagine, the reason why I asked you to subscribe is because that is the only favor that I'm asking from you guys. Okay, that's the only favor. And you can imagine I'll be here preaching this gospel all the time. Whether you subscribe or not, I'll still be here. So I'm taking my time to do this to actually change your life, because I signed in for you to change your life, for me to change your life for the better. So whether we have the views or not, whether we have the subscribers or not, we will do it. However, it is only honorable that you can actually do your part by subscribing, okay? And then let the rest be to me, I'll do it. So thank you for that. And then that contact that is 0707 074722 is still our contact for both physical consultations that are starting next week on Tuesday for 2 weeks in Nairobi. It's also going to be used for online consultations that happen every day in the evening. Okay, so you can actually use that contact to book an appointment so that it can be scheduled. We give you an hour for each and you get to enjoy health content, and we change your life for the better. And actually we reverse your chronic conditions. So this is a home where we reverse your chronic conditions and we ease the burden of the prescriptions. Okay, so thank you so much for taking your time to be here. Now to the most interesting part of this. And before that, can I have no, I'll take the course the last. So before that, doctor, do you ship outside Kenya? Yes, we do. We use DHL to ship it outside the country. So thank you. What about maziwa mala? As long as that maziwa mala is not boiled, you take it straight from the cow, you ferment it without boiling, and then you drink it without adding sugar. It's good. Any fermented food is perfect for your health and your gut. Fermented cabbage will last for how long? Now listen, the more it ferments, the better it becomes. So if you make your own cabbage, simply once you scoop the 2 spoonfuls and combine with an avocado and you eat before a meal, you close it tight and return it on the shelves. The more it ferments, the better it becomes. Trust me on that. Okay? There's a cabbage that was here that had lasted about 1 year and 1 month or so. It was so amazing. Subscribe from TikTok. That is Nancy Kerubo. Thank you so much, Nancy, for joining the health train. You'll never alight, I can assure you that. Good. So let's now go to the medication for constipation. Okay, now that you've failed to eat healthy sorry, now that you've traveled and now you're here, you've gotten the constipation and now that you've used the antacids. Okay, Ani from TikTok, amazing. So there are people actually flocking from TikTok. That's why I'm seeing these numbers going up. Thank you. So those of you who are moving to my YouTube to subscribe, amazing. That is exciting. Kimberly is also here. Amazing. So yes, so let me tell you this. So the medication for constipation, now that you've eaten these unhealthy foods, you've not fasted, your gut is messed up, you've eaten the inflammatory foods, you've taken the antacids, the antidepressants you're on, and now you've reached a point where now you have constipation. Okay, now you're at a place where you have now constipation, the real constipation. What do? We give you medication temporarily to help you fix this symptom. Underline, fix this symptom. So we help you fix this symptom as we try to fix the cause, which is the kitchen. Now realize this, that even your syllabus says this, that this medication relieves symptoms, but they don't cure the cause. Long-term use of laxatives can cause dependence. Hey, now listen, let's go back and listen to this. Cynthia Omongo, welcome. Let's go back and listen keenly. This laxative that you're using, these drugs for constipation that you're using, are not intentionally here to fix the gut problem. Why? Because 90% of them focus on the stool, on the hard stool, and how to make it soft so that it gets out. But they don't focus on the gut motility, on the movement of the gut. They don't focus on the motility. They focus on the stool. So they're not fixing any problem. They're just masking the symptoms, and then they will help you in a short period of time so that you fix your kitchen. The earlier you do it, the better. Okay? So they work on the stool and they don't work on the motility of the gut. Good. So number one, basically drugs for constipation are called laxatives or purgatives. Now when you say laxatives, it's a softer way. When you say purgatives, there are these that are very potent, that can actually evacuate your bowel so fast, and they can actually rupture your bowel. Okay, so yeah, so you must be careful with this. But let me take you through this. So laxatives are classified into different groups. This for the pharmacists and all that. One is the bulk forming laxatives. From the word bulk forming, so they actually make your stool bigger. They bulk your stool. When they do that, they stimulate the gut motility, and now the rectum starts to flow. And now you can ease up the flow. That is one. That's the bulk forming. So they actually cause water to come into the stool. And when they're causing water to come into the stool, they are bulking the stool. And you see, as water is coming into the stool to bulk the stool, you're getting dehydrated. And therefore, hello? So we are pulling water from the gut into the stool to make it bulk and soft. But what are we causing in long run? Dehydration. And what is dehydration going to cause us later? Let me sip my water. The problem is me. So as you take that laxative to fix the symptoms of constipation, of course, the end result will end up being constipation. Would you want that? Would you want a kidney problem later on? I guess not. So why don't you fix the gut? Number 2. So examples of these bulk forming laxatives. Number 1 is isfagula, the husk, which you people call fibogel. Number 2 is methyl cellulose. And I think you know these drugs. But let me just read the contraindications so that you can actually understand it, okay? So as you're causing dehydration, these drugs are quite unsafe in people who have kidney disease and people who have heart failure and people who have fluid retention. So if you are swelling those legs, you have a kidney problem and you have a heart problem, dehydration can actually destroy you. Therefore, you cannot prefer bulk forming laxatives. But these drugs, what interests me is they say they are safe in the elderly. But these conditions are conditions for those people who are already elderly. So are they even safe in the elderly? My opinion is no. Therefore, fix the kitchen. Alafu, they are dangerous in heart failure and in people who have just had surgeries. What is the best time to eat fermented cabbages? Use fermented cabbage plus an avocado to break a fast just before a meal. Okay, 10 minutes to your meal. Good. So that is bulk forming laxatives. Number 2, we have the osmotic laxatives. From the word osmotic, they actually alter the osmotic, the gradient, the difference in osmotic pressures. So this is what is happening. 1, they keep water into the lumen. Now, this is interesting because, again, this one can cause you another dehydration because they keep water into the lumen. Now, some of them are rich in fiber, so this fiber attracts water again. And when it attracts water, there's bulking, there's softening of the stool. But contrary to that, we are going to get dehydration again. But listen, examples of these osmotic laxatives is the famous one that is called lactulose. It is non-absorbable, so it makes sure that water is retained in the rectum and there's moisturization, and now you can actually evacuate the stool. So lactulose is here. We have another one that is magnesium hydroxide. Hello, magnesium hydroxide. So remember, magnesium salts cause diarrhea. Any magnesium salt can cause diarrhea, okay? But calcium salts cause constipation. So you eat calcium supplements, you get constipation. You eat magnesium supplements, you end up getting diarrhea. So you see, it's opposite. That's why we have magnesium hydroxide as a laxative that is osmotic laxative. However, listen to this. Magnesium hydroxide is one of the components of antacids. Some antacids have magnesium hydroxide, others have magnesium trisilicate. So this is an antacid. So when you use magnesium hydroxide as a laxative, you will end up neutralizing the stomach pH. What is going to happen? What did we say is the cause of constipation in terms of the pH of the stomach? Neutralization. And that's why antacids cause constipation, because they neutralize stomach pH and now you are unable to digest food, the protein, therefore constipation. And now you're using magnesium hydroxide as a medication for constipation, yet the cause of constipation was the same salts that neutralize stomach acid. So are we solving anything? We are working one step ahead and then 3 back. That's why these are supposed to be used as short-term therapies to manage the symptoms as you fix the causes. Okay? And then of course glycol is here and glycerin is also here. Okay? Also, this one that is actually used when you're doing a colonoscopy, the one to empty the bowel so that they can actually perform a procedure on your gut, which is called the PEG, the PEG. Most of you know it, right? Who have gone through these procedures, PEG. Now, the next laxative is called the stool or fecal softeners. From the word fecal softeners or stool softeners, they just soften the stool and then they ease up on releasing it. One of it is called Dulcocet. And they say these ones are very good in post-surgical patients, those who have hemorrhoids, and women who have just given birth. So at least these can be used in those people. So you soften the stools in women who have given birth, in people who have had the surgeries, and people who have hemorrhoids, so that we can actually ease up their flow. So these ones are a little better, right? Because they soften the stool. Now, the last one is the stimulant laxative. From the word stimulant, they stimulate the nerves that actually innervate the rectum. that can be a problem. And these ones are the ones that actually cause a high risk of dependence and addiction. 𝐂𝐿𝐓 got it right. Senna is part of the stimulant laxatives. So you take it, it stimulates the nerves, and then now the reflexes are there, and now the bowel movements, and boom, your stool is out. But imagine if you stimulate those nerves and you have constipation. So the stool is hard already, and now you're stimulating the bowel movements, and the reflex is so high, and now you're pumping out the stool. You might end up rupturing most of the cells and most of the nerves also aligning the rectum. And because of that stimulation of these nerves, you give your child this, the Senna, the Bisacodyl, you know it? You give them these, they stimulate the nerves all the time. And then these nerves get used to that stimulation. Therefore, now every time you have to stimulate them again. You have to stimulate them all the time, all the time. So now the gut walls and the rectum muscles and the nerves get used to this. And now you have to give a purgative for them to have a normal bowel flow. And that's why they say do not use them, do not abuse them or overuse them, because you'll end up getting into dependence, and that is criminal. That is criminal. Therefore, before you give a laxative, fix the gut. And if you fix the gut, of course, you'll never find a reason to take any laxative. That is one. Number two, before you give a laxative, make sure that you have cleared the fact that the gut is not obstructed. Make sure that the gut is not obstructed. Make sure that you've done all the tests, doctors, to know that the bowels are not even narrowing. They're not constricting. Make sure that there's no obstruction, so that when you give this, you don't regret, because you might end up killing somebody by just giving them laxatives. And that's why selling laxatives over the counter is criminal, because you've seen there are people who have heart diseases and you don't even know it. You have people who have kidney problems. Nowadays, we have diabetes all over. So people have diabetes and have kidney problems as a complication of diabetes, and you end up giving them the laxatives. And now you end up dehydrating them, causing them more problems, heart attacks and kidney failures. Now they have to pay for 4 sessions every week for dialysis. Now they have to find a match and pay about 1.5 million for a transplant that will not even work, because there will be complications for that transplant. So please, even though you are out here to sell medication, we know you are supposed to dispense medication. Pharmacists and pharmaceutical technologists, businessmen who have hired licenses from pharmacists to carry out business that are related to medication and medicine sell. Do not sell these drugs. Hire people who are actually sane. Hire people who are licensed. Hire people who understand the basics of this, so that when they dispense these drugs, I understand there is that business aspect of it, and you have to survive, you have to pay bills. However, the main reason why these courses are done, the main reason why I know you started that pharmacy, was not to become rich. It was to change the life of that person who is coming to that pharmacy. Not to bring them back. Not to put more healthcare cost on them. Not to put them more in the hospital beds. No. Your intention to start that pharmacy, of course I know 80% of the intention is about the money. But your intention is supposed to be humanity. And then the reward that comes with that humanity aspect of you is tremendous. The satisfaction that comes with you changing a life of that person who is unable to afford the dialysis sessions. At least maybe you are selling drugs and you can afford that dialysis session. There's somebody who cannot afford that. Okay? Therefore, let's be lenient with them. I understand people like politicians will come to the pharmacy and they want the most expensive drugs. And they are so arrogant, they want it when they want it. At least that one you can wash your hands and say, oh, this one pushed me into this. But that innocent person who is coming in for medical advice, I really wonder why you can actually write and renew prescriptions for people who have diabetes. You even supply drugs to them. You even know them by names. You call them to tell them, hey, your drugs are here. And you've never bothered to explain to them that diabetes is actually reversible. Is it that you don't know? Or is it that you just want them as slaves? Answer us. Is it that pharmaceutics and pharmaceutical pharmacists don't know this? Or is it that just the interest of money just came in and overtook everything? When did we become so inhuman? So before you give that laxative, make sure there's no obstruction. Make sure there was no surgery that was done. Appendicitis, IBS, diverticulous. Make sure there was no surgery that was done for gastric bypass. Okay? And then look at the age, because as people age, osmotic laxatives cannot be given because they'll cause imbalance in electrolytes. And you cannot imbalance electrolytes in an elderly person. They will give them heart disease. They will die of a heart attack. And then even in the pregnant, make sure that you have to give out a laxative for the shortest period of time. Because I know pregnant women also eat a lot of unhealthy foods. They end up coming with these problems. So yes, be lenient, because health is universal. Anything that you're doing wherever you are is going to be done to your children in the village, to your parents in the village. So health is universal. As you think that you're doing this for my parent, I am doing the same to your parent somewhere. I'm doing the same to your relative. And this same relative will ask you for help in terms of money so that they can actually fix their health bills. So as you perform these things to these people, as you dispense these drugs, even as you sell those drugs, always have a human heart. Remember, we have an oath, and that oath has 4 principles. And all these 4 principles are for the benefit of the patient, not for the benefit of the practitioner. Amazing, right? Good. So let's have some conversations here. It's always chaotic when you try advising a patient on something dietary, especially if working in a government hospital, and then your colleague asks whether what you are offering is within scope. Let me tell you, in government hospitals, the problem you have is this: ego. And of course, on Fridays, we'll talk about the egos all the time. We talk about egos until they get to understand it. Do kuna kunywa nini? This is just water, bro, plus some salt, to just make sure that my throat is hydrated. So this is the reality. In government hospitals, in public hospitals, it's all about ego. An MO is thinking is better than the rest and he can give orders. A nurse is thinking because I'm the one who is administering drugs, I'm the better one. A pharmacist is thinking because I'm the drug expert, you cannot tell me anything. And it's all about ego and this fight. Who is better between a pharmacist and a pharmaceutical technologist? Who is better between an MO and a clinical officer? Who is better between a registered and enrolled nurse? It's all ego. And as you put your ego ahead, you become so evil, and the patient's needs don't make sense to you. They don't. They'll even think you are misadvising them. You just let it pass and just follow the guidelines and feel the guilt. Now, in Kenya, we are even lucky. Ego kills everything. Yes, ego blocks doctors from common sense. Ego is actually intellectual, and intellectual is evil. So intellectual blocks you from seeing the light. It blocks you from common sense. And that's why when a patient asks you a question that needs you to rely on your common sense, you become angry, you become mad. You want them to feel they're the patient and you're the doctor. And when you do that, you lose it all. How many doctors get angry to an extent that they tell the patient, I'll not serve you. If you don't take this medication, I'll not serve you. If you don't do this, I'll not do this. In my language, you say, otatia. Otatia wina. Otatia. Otatia nani? Eh? The doctor became emotional. This is a person who sat in a class and was taught. He was taught how to handle a rogue patient. Eh? A rowdy patient. You were taught how to be calm in front of a rowdy patient. But you're the one who is actually now becoming crazy. Unatatia na daktari anatatia patient. Yeah? So the psychiatrist became angry. So who is the patient here? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, being human, you must put effort, but being an animal is effortless. Don't care. And nowadays, animals are even better than human beings. They are better. They don't do things that we do. Can I use coconut vinegar in place of fermented cabbage? I don't know what coconut vinegar is. Do you guys know what coconut vinegar is? I don't know what that is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's put in some conversations here about 3-4 people, and then we call it a night. So I hope you enjoyed this content. If you enjoy it, thumbs up, like the live, continue. Okay. Sound of books. Let's talk to sound of books. And again, we can basically try out the contact 0707 2020 74. Let's try that again. 0707 2020 74. Yes, sounds of books.
Good evening, Doc.
Good evening. How are you?
Okay, thank you.
Talk to.
Lovely session.
I didn't hear that.
Lovely session. I said lovely session.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And I thank you for it.
I appreciate, bro. Where are you talking to us from?
I'm from Ngong.
Bungoma.
Ngong, Kajiado.
Oh, Ngong. Ah, amazing, bro. Thank you for coming through.
Yes, I'd like to disagree with you on something.
Yes.
About going to sit on the throne with your phone.
Yes.
I usually do that just to cover the sound effects.
Okay.
To drown the sound effects from the throne.
Oh, so are you disagreeing with me or are you trying to protect your sounds?
I'm trying to protect my sound and disagree with you at the same time.
Yeah, I remember when I was starting this, I said, hey, there are people who, hey, the hoofer.
Just to drown the sound effects. I protect my sound effects with my phone.
I'm done with you, bro. So it's not me, yeah. Yeah,
it's not you.
Yeah.
It's me.
Oh man, you have to tell these people. Yeah, sometimes just turn on the TV and let it make noise. Let them enjoy the TV. Yeah?
It's in the morning now. Everybody is asleep. You don't want to disturb their sleep.
Hey, bro, you have a long way to go. You need to fix that gut now. Hey. Amazing, man. Yes, sir.
I have two questions.
Yes, sir.
I've been having somebody recommended 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐒 for me.
Yes.
And I believe it has worked well for me.
Yeah.
That was.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if what happens to your gut when you use 𝐂𝐎𝐶.
Yep.
And the second question.
Mm-hmm.
I read somewhere that your gut is your second brain.
Yes.
I'm not a medic.
Okay.
I can deliver Nini from that. I can think of something about that, but I don't know what it means.
Okay.
But your gut is your second brain.
Okay.
Yes.
If you ask me, the gut is actually the first brain. You know why? Because there's a direct link between the brain and the gut. It's called the gut-brain axis. So whatever is happening in the gut is actually what is going to happen in the brain. You feed the gut, you feed the brain. You destroy the gut, you destroy the brain. And that's why most mental health problems like depression, anxiety, and all that hail from a messed up gut. So you cannot fix them because they are symptoms to a messed up gut. If you fix the gut, you fix the brain. That is my relationship. And again, there's a direct nerve from the gut to the brain that is called the vagus nerve. That nerve depends on the nutrition of the gut. Okay? So that is one. Number two, about the 𝐂𝐶𝐒. 𝐂𝐶 is basically fiber, high in fiber. And fiber is good for the gut.
Yeah.
Just the same way fermented foods are rich in fiber, and fiber is good for the gut because it feeds the gut microorganisms. However, if you overfeed on fiber, let's say you're doing 𝐂𝐶, you're also doing complex carbohydrates, at the same time you're doing the fermented foods, at the same time you're doing vegetables, you end up overfeeding the gut microorganisms and they end up punishing you by giving you constipation. So therefore, yes, 𝐂𝐶 is good. There's another one called spirulina. Spirulina is good for the gut. There's the fermented cabbage is good for the gut. Kombucha, fermented carrots and all that. All fermented foods plus the supplements like 𝐂𝐶 and spirulina are very good for the gut. But if you overdo them, of course, the gut punishes you by getting you to constipate.
Okay, so what do you mean by overdoing it?
Let's say, like in one day, how much fiber are you taking in? Let's say you're eating, in the morning you're doing your brown bread plus tea that has some sugar and all that. The brown bread is too much fiber, the one that is called bran, crazy stuff. Then at noon you're doing a vegetable salad plus some fruits. And then in the evening you're doing ugali from the posho meal plus something else, or you're doing beans and chapati, and then you're adding in maybe vegetables again, and then you're doing a supplement. All that cumulatively is high fiber intake. And you see, fiber is not necessary for you, it's necessary for your gut microorganisms. You're actually giving them food through fiber so that they give you the B vitamins, and they also help you in digestion as a result, or how can I put it, in return they give you the digestion and they give you the B vitamins. So if you want to be safe, you simply don't overfeed them, because if you overfeed them, they become redundant. Okay, and that's why the best way to eat is just one meal a day, because in one meal you can't do too much fiber. But somebody who is eating 4 meals in a day and still snacking in between, too much fiber is coming in, and the gut microorganisms become so redundant, and they punish you by giving you constipation.
True.
Yeah, so CMOS is perfect.
Asante sana.
Karibu sana, bro. Thank you so much for coming through, and I appreciate that.
Lovely.
Amazing.
Thanks for the session.
Amazing. Hey, I love that. This gentleman is producing soundtracks. And if you hear a gentleman saying that, he's very honest, because somebody has complained. Like, hey, bro, hey. Not only are we suffering from the nose, we are also suffering from the ears. So you can't wake up at 4 to just go and and turn on the alarms in the toilet. I mean, when I do CMOS, I get constipated. No, stop blaming CMOS, because cumulatively the amount of fiber that you're taking in a day is what is a problem. And then most of you want to take CMOS to actually cover your bad eating habits. So you eat all the chapatis, you eat all the bread and the unhealthy foods, and then you blame the healthy foods. This is the same thing that happens with people when you tell them to drop the unhealthy foods and start eating healthy foods. And their body responds by just a simple discomfort, because it has to adapt anyway. Now they come blaming the healthy foods. Oh, when I started this, I'm suffering. They actually want to go back. So they're looking for a reason for you to go back. And I tell them, oh, if you think you're suffering, please go back and let's see the real suffering. Okay? Hey doc, what is the best diet for an adult who has constipation frequently? Simply reduce vegetable intake, rehydrate with salt and water, and start fasting 1 meal a day. The best diet is 1 meal a day with no ugali, rice, and chapati. And I've put out a video about diet plan. You can watch that video on my platform called Diet Plan. It's a healthy video on what you just eat, so that you don't ask the question, if I drop chapati, rice, and ugali, then what should I eat? Because that's the question I get all the time. Yes, 0707 20 20 74. I'm hoping to get a call from that line so that I can actually see, because I'm testing something. Does taking mangoes fasting in the morning fasten the boil? Can somebody whip Joy? Can somebody whip Joy hard? Why is Joy taking mangoes in the morning? Can somebody give her a whip? Joy is eating mangoes in the morning, and she's asking, is it okay to eat mangoes in the morning? Is beans okay with someone who is on weight loss? Beans are complex carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are supposed to be the least in your plate. So yes, in the initial phases of weight loss, beans are okay as a carbohydrate source. You can do beans plus meat plus vegetables, but just a handful of beans. So you ease up on that, and then as you go ahead, you drop the beans. But they are very good, a very good or rich source of the folate, the natural form of vitamin B9. Are potatoes okay? When I get that question, everybody means, are Irish potatoes okay? If you're talking about sweet potatoes, perfect, but make them the least in that plate. If you're talking about Irish potatoes, drop them. They are useless starches, and they are highly adulterated. Nowadays, because we have to feed McDonald's, we have to feed the appetite from KFC and all these food industries, we now have to produce Irish potatoes massively on large scale. And that's where the demon comes in, because they now have to put in everything. Oh, good, amazing. Let's see this. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. My question is...
Who is this, please?
I'm Lenny Nyaga.
Welcome on board, Lenny Nyaga. Talk to me.
Thank you so much.
What is your question, sir?
My question is, I've just stumbled upon your channel and I'm 25 years old.
Yes.
And I'm quite concerned.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, do you think that we'll be able to get to maybe the age of 50 or 60 in the life we are living right now?
I am afraid most of people will not make it beyond 40, but I'm also glad that at 25 years of age, you stumbled on this platform. The essence of this platform is to make sure that every one of us can actually get to 100 years with good eyesight, with good hearing, and with good health, so that when we decide, we will only rest, we will not just die. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so we rest that other people take over. Now, listen to this. Stop worrying about other people making it to over 50. It's none of your business, okay? Your business is you fix your kitchen, you start eating healthy, you start fasting, You start working out, you start enjoying the sun, you ease up on stress levels, you rehydrate with salt and water, and then you create networks of people that actually share the same goals. Once you do that, your life goes on smoothly, and then you fix your identity. Everything just works in your favor. So you don't need to care about any other person. You only need, because you came alone and you will live alone. So fix you, the rest shall align, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so you will get through those years and beyond. Not because that we are selling you hope, no, because we know you are what you eat. So eat what you want to be.
Okay, and another question.
Yes.
My dad suffers from pain in the legs. Most of the time they are swollen.
Your legs?
In the legs.
Okay.
So when he tries to speak to our mom and our sisters to maybe reduce the intake of seed oils,
Yes.
they do not agree. How would you advise to a family that wants to live the correct way, but some of them are not aware, so they keep fighting it every time?
I can assure you this for free, bro, and that's a very genuine question, a very good question. Thank you for that. I can assure you this for free. I am a medic and I've done this for the longest period of time. However, I still have people doubting what I'm doing, because what the health system has fed them constantly is that healthy foods are the unhealthy ones, and the unhealthy ones are now the new healthy ones. And then they've been sold the fear that if they do certain types of foods, like cholesterol-rich foods, they will end up suffering from strokes, and their hypertension will now come in and all that. The weird part is, when you try to tell them about healthy living and eating, they argue about it. But the reality is, most people argue about leading and living a healthy life when in real sense, they have never tried it. Look at people who are suffering from hypertension. They have avoided salt for the longest period of time, but they are still hypertensive. They are still on drugs for hypertension. They go back and they are given new drugs and other drugs and different combinations for hypertension, but they never get better. But they keep on arguing because everybody loves their hell. People love living in their own hell. So it's not your responsibility to get people from the hell, because they must get their identity so that they see the light of the day. You need to only advise, and if they take your advice, well done. If they don't take your advice, when they will need it, they will find you. So you play your part and the rest aligns. But ideally, I can imagine your struggle, you not being a medic, trying to explain medical stuff to somebody who thinks they have information, who thinks they've studied so much and they've done so much research and they know more than you. So they're wondering, who is this guy? So I understand your position, and that's why I come in. So if you share some of my videos with them, they will be resistant in the first place. They will even hate me because of what I say all the time, and I go hard on them. But they will see sense because I use practical examples that happen in hospitals. And when they see that, they relate. Once they relate, they become my follower. And that's how I accumulated all these followers. So you've done well already. Stop pushing them. Stop forcing them, because you'll be imposing your will on them. Okay? So simply refer them to somebody or something that will actually guide them through. And that's the reason why my platform exists.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir, and I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you.
Amazing, 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 amazing. Somebody's asking me, what's my profession? Please advertise. If you have a private hospital, please, or a public hospital, whichever the case, just put out an advert for any. And see if I apply. Once I apply, of course, you'll go through my CV. You'll see my profession. So don't worry about that, because you're not offering me a job. So what will be the need of me telling you my profession? Yet, you're not going to offer me a job. What is the need of me telling you that? Do you want me to buy your trust? That you, I'm a medical officer, or I'm a pharmacist, or I'm a clinical pharmacist, so that you can actually believe what I'm saying? Choose you, my dear. Choose you. Choose you. Choose you. You can choose to listen or just peacefully. Thank you so much. Yes, hello.
Hello.
Hi, who is this?
Hi, my name is Glenny. Call myself Bonus.
Bonus. Okay, Bonus. How are you? Bonus.
Yes, Bonus.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay. Sometimes I don't want people to know my real identity, because my story is a bit tricky.
Okay, no problem. Share it with us then. Bonus.
Now, I am a cancer survivor.
Oh, amazing.
I was diagnosed with uterine cancer.
Yes.
Like 7 years ago.
Okay.
Which led me to go through total hysterectomy.
Yes.
Which has really affected my life.
Yes. Yes.
And anyway, my life has changed completely.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, is it possible for me to go back to my normal life as I used to be? Because, already right now, I am going through menopause, which is surgical menopause.
Yes.
Which has really affected my life, sexually.
Yeah.
The menopause symptoms. Yeah, and everything. I know you understand what I mean.
I'm trying to. Yeah. Just go ahead. I'll pick what I have to pick in.
Okay, so I was asking this. Is there a way that maybe I can do a consultation with you? Maybe my life will go back to normal, or should I just embrace what I'm going through and accept that this is me, the way I am right now, or do you think my life can change again?
Okay. Do you have
normal?
Okay. Do you have a past?
Sorry?
Do you have a past?
Do I have a?
Do you have a past? P-A-S-T.
Yes, I do.
Do you have a future?
Yes, I do.
How do you know?
I know I have a future because God gave me a second chance to live.
So do you know you have a future?
Yeah.
How do you know you have a future?
I know I have a future because God gave me a second chance to live. Because if I didn't have that future, I could not be here today.
But you're here today, not in the future.
Yeah.
So why don't you learn to live in the present and stop thinking about what is in your head, like what is in your imagination, about the future that you don't even have, and about the past that is gone and is only in your imagination, is not there. So stop worrying about what happened in your past because it's not there anymore. And stop worrying about the future because you're afraid of what the future holds, and that future is not even present. So start living in the present. Start there. That is one. Number two, doubt every single thought in your head. And number three, you're not the first one to go through that procedure. You are a survivor, for heaven's sake. So which means you got a second chance with life, okay? That should be a positive step in your life every single time you wake up. Why? Because it's you are among the 1% of people who have actually gone through this and came out, and you can actually have the confidence to speak about it. I wish you even put out your name like clearly, which is just a good thing. But this is the point. What is your cooking oil?
Okay, I use the normal oil.
Which is the normal oil?
I do Elianto.
You do Elianto, okay. That's the normal oil, right?
Yeah.
Do you consume sugar in any form?
Yeah, a little bit of it.
So do you consume sugar?
Yes, I do.
Do you consume fruits?
I'm not a fan of fruits.
But do you consume fruits?
Yeah, once in a while.
So do you consume fruits?
Yes, I do.
How about wheat products? Do you consume bread, chapati, and mandazi?
No, I don't take that.
Okay. For how long?
Okay, since I was diagnosed, I dropped some things.
Yes.
Like wheat and red meat.
Okay. Why did you drop red meat?
Okay. I was told by my doctor that I maybe should be taking white meat. I should not be taking red meat.
Okay. What is the difference between red meat and white meat?
I don't know. That is what I was advised.
Okay. And what is your biggest fear at this moment in time?
My biggest fear is a recurrence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you have children?
I do.
How old is your child?
He's in Form 3.
How old is she or he?
16 years.
Okay.
17 now.
Okay. For the last 17 years, let's say 14, because you were diagnosed 3 years ago. So for the last 14 years, which was your your contraceptive method?
I was using Femiplan.
Oh, you're using Femiplan, which is a hormonal contraceptive.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you consume milk?
Yes, I do.
Do you sometimes eat in restaurants?
Yeah.
When was the last?
I always, in fact, like every day I have to eat in a restaurant.
Okay. Every day?
Yeah, like every day.
Okay. And when was the last time you did possibly a 24-hour fast?
I have never done that.
Okay. So how many meals do you do in a day?
Okay, I do 1 meal a day.
Okay. What time?
At lunchtime.
Do you snack in between?
No.
What time do you take breakfast?
At around 10.
Okay.
Because I wake up early in the morning.
Yes.
So nikitoka sina hiyo time ya take breakfast in the house. So I take breakfast outside the house.
Yes.
I also do lunch outside the house.
Mm-hmm.
Then during maybe now I'll take maybe like lemon water or tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is holding you from cooking at home?
I think it's the nature of my work.
Okay. What is the nature of your work?
Okay, I do Uber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Now, so did you pay for all these procedures in cash?
Yeah, by then I did pay in cash.
Okay. Did it drain you financially, like literally to an extent that you felt like this is going to destroy me?
Yes, it really drained me.
Okay. And what makes you think that I am in the right position to advise you?
Okay, because I have gone through your videos,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen you talk about natural ways of dealing with this situation.
Yes.
So I felt like maybe I should come to you
Yeah.
and maybe we can sit down, I book an appointment, we talk, maybe I might be able to reverse some things in my life because, right now I'm on estrogens.
Yes. Oh, you're on estrogens.
Yes, I'm on estrogens because I have to take them because of my condition, because of the menopause.
Yes.
You see, I got into menopause before I reached the age.
Yeah.
So I was put on the estrogens.
Man.
Yeah, which also I've tried to do some research and I have seen they are not good. They might bring breast cancer,
Man, this is the real and this is the ideal situations of how our systems are designed. This is the real situation, and man, I don't know if I'm the only one who is feeling her story. Damn. Listen, bonus. Let's do this. I would actually appreciate if you book that appointment so that you and I can get to have a real conversation that is unfiltered and that is going to change your life for the better. And you will see where you're going wrong. Because trust me, number one, the cooking oil, sorry. Yeah, become the system also. So the cooking oil that you're using, wrong. The estrogens that you're on, problems. What is your body weight right now?
I'm around 58.
The sugar that you're using, problems. The fruits that you're consuming, problems. The restaurant foods that you're eating, problems. The hormonal contraceptive that you used after getting your baby, your child, problems. Your inability to fast and taking morning breakfast, problems. So it's an entire story that I can actually guide you through, and the way you'll feel 3 weeks or 4 weeks into the program, you will never regret it. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I've talked about cancers, I've talked about tumors all through and over and over. I've talked about surgeries and deaths for people who are trying to recover from cancer and who want to actually prevent themselves from getting cancer, and even fasten their remission from cancer. And if they are on chemotherapy, the bodies rejuvenate themselves, their livers come back, and they can be able to ease up on the side effects of chemotherapy. Now, you are a perfect example of somebody who has suffered in the hands of healthcare, and it's unfortunate. And I wish, or I hope, that you can actually book that appointment so that we can just have a sit down with you and you get to understand the basics of this. However, we apologize for what you've gone through, but we cannot change our past because we don't have a past, okay? We need to live in the moment. We also don't have a future, so don't stop focusing on the future. So I wish that you can actually book that appointment and you have this conversation. And it's very reversible, and you can actually prevent yourself from getting a remission. You can get back on your feet and lead a healthy life. I'm glad that you already have a child who you can look at and see the benefits of your fertility in the youth. So yes, everything is reversible. Everything you can actually prevent yourself from getting a remission. You are only 38 years. There's a whole life ahead of you if only you can actually know the right way to do things. So yes, I'll be in Nairobi from Tuesday for the next 2 weeks. So if you find a chance to book an appointment and get to our offices and we have this conversation, you will never regret it and you'll see the bigger picture.
I'll do that. So you're in Nairobi starting from tomorrow?
Tuesday, next week on Tuesday.
Next week?
Yes.
Okay, I'll definitely book for an appointment.
You already have our office contact?
Is this the same number I'm calling?
No, it's 0707.
Okay, just a minute. Just a minute, please.
Okay,
I just want to write it somewhere.
no
I'm
problem.
already in bed.
No problem.
Yeah. Do you have a pen?
You do?
I want to look for a pen. Yeah, I get one. 07
0707
0707
07 again and then 4722.
4722.
Yeah, so it's 0707 07 4722.
Okay, I'll book an appointment.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. We know that one day you'll come and give out your testimony now with your real identity. I hope to see you in Nairobi, and I believe that I'm the man who is going to change your life for the better.
Thank you so much. I'll definitely book for an appointment.
You're welcome, and you take care of yourself. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you.
Amazing. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. How many times shall I preach this to you guys? How many times? How many times shall I preach this stuff up? Imagine somebody who has gone through the entire system of management of cancer and even a surgery. Somebody who has gone through hell and back. But even the oncologist did not tap into the diets, the causes of cancer. And now she's on estrogens. What did we say is the cause of cancer in women? And now she's on the same thing that caused the cancer. And now we will one day say, cancer will die, right? Cancer will die one day. This is an innocent person who has just suffered the blow from the rogue systems. And you can imagine how much synthetic estrogens she's pumping into her system to protect her from the postmenopausal syndrome, which is actually estrogen dominance. At 38, she's already into her menopause. Please, men might not understand this. Ladies, at 38, she's already into her menopause. And now, we have to give her estrogen, synthetic estrogens, to actually protect her from estrogen problems. Eh? Man, as I was asking those questions, I know most of you are getting so upset, most of you are getting disturbed, but you sense the innocence in her voice. You sense how innocent she was when the healthcare system took advantage of her. You feel like you can actually slap somebody. Feel like you can actually just strangle somebody for doing these such injustices to such an innocent soul. Now she is an Uber driver. How much do you think an Uber driver makes in one night before the Uber guys take their shares? And then how much do you think the therapy for cancer is worth? She's even lucky she did not sell that car. But look at her. They've never addressed the health or the diet problem. She still eats in restaurants. She still uses the seed oils that actually caused her inflammation. And she's just hoping that, oh God, please protect me so that they don't get a recurrence of this cancer. That's how much she trusted the health system, to an extent that she knows inside her there's a spirit that tells her this might come back, but she's just hopeful that this ikuwe ni ya mwisho, nilifanya ya mwisho, and it's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, we will not stop doing these conversations. Why? Because through this, all of you are learning something. All of you are learning something. You might be so stubborn, so confused, but when you get to the health and wellness spot, you only need one wake-up call and you never go back. You deserve better. You don't deserve to wake up early in the morning to go and make some money, and then all this money ends up in the healthcare institutions. You don't deserve that. She has a child, for heaven's sake, who is in high school, 16 years of age. Who knows what the future holds for that child, what God has designed for that child? Now, do we save money for the child? Or do we save money to protect ourselves just in case there is a recurrence of that condition? Imagine that. So do you save money for the sake of investment and the future of your child, your daughter or your son? Or do you save money to go back to the institutions of healthcare and spend all that money there and still die, and then they tell you died of cancer when you are actually treating the same cancer? We are wise, right? We are wise. So keep being sane, keep being open-minded, keep asking questions. But most importantly, keep fixing your kitchen, because your solutions are in your kitchen. They are in your kitchen. There's no solution in a hospital. Hospitals are supposed to be for emergency purposes. Your solution to every healthcare problem is in that kitchen of yours. You might not be the best cook, but at least you know how to combine foods. You might not know much about medicine, but at least you know what is the cooking oil to use. So go do it. Now tomorrow we are here, same time, same venue, 8:30 p.m. Kenyan time for the Testimonial Tuesdays. You can't miss on Testimonial Tuesdays, because tomorrow is where you share your story to inspire somebody like Bonus. You share your story to actually open up the mind of other Kenyans who are still out there in the dark. They are wishing they can see light the same way you've seen light, but they can't because they're in the darkness. So therefore, it's your time to change their life for the better through your own testimony. We welcome you on board. We take the microphone. We have a conversation with you. You share your story. We share our inputs so that you can actually change your life and then change people who are actually near you and around you. And through that, we lead a healthy life. We get to 100 years. We look forward to a life that most of us will just rest because we've done enough. Not just die like dogs on the roads. Not just die from vaccines and medications and side effects of medications that are causing us multiple organ failure. We shall be heard. I can assure you, we shall be heard. So thank you so much for being on this live tonight. We cannot continue from there. Let's just hold it until tomorrow. We have this conversation again on the Testimonial Tuesday. May God keep you safe. May God keep enlightening you and opening you your third eye so that you can actually see the real picture of how the healthcare systems are and you lead a healthy life contrary to what they're telling you to do. So thank you so much for being an amazing audience. Thank you so much for all of you who have liked the live, those of you who have shared the live, those of you who have shared their sentiments and their views on this platform. And as always, we never disappoint. We will never disappoint. Thank you so much for everything. Have a good night. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon from wherever you're watching us from. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Adios.